Good morning, CrossFit Queen Creek. It's Monday, the 27th of April. Happy Monday. Hey, let's go ahead and get rocking and rolling. Hope everybody had a good weekend, and we got a fun little triplet for you this morning. So what we got looking at today is a 20-minute long AMRAP. So what's AMRAP? As many rounds as possible. So what we got is 3 different movements that we're gonna go over today. We've got goblet squats, we've got Russian kettlebell swings, and we've got Russian twists. So we got some leg work, we've got some core, whole body actually when it comes to the kettlebell swing, and we've got a whole lot of core going on as well when it comes to the Russian twists. So we only need one little piece of equipment today that we can hold for goblet squats and swing for the kettlebell swings. And if you want to hang on to it and scale up your Russian twist, that's always an option. If not, we can just do regular Russian twists. So let's go ahead and let's run through the movements, equipment, some scaling options, and then we'll go through the movements individually themselves. As I'm going to step over here for a second. The 3 different movements that we got and some scaling options that we have today with the goblet squat. Typically with the goblet squat, you're going to be holding something in front of you up at chest level. If it's a kettlebell or a dumbbell or a weighted backpack or a plate, you're going to hold it up high at chest level and you're going to come down into a squat. A scaled version of this would be to just remove the weight entirely and go into a regular air squat. We'll go over the mechanics and points of performance on that here in a moment. Russian kettlebell swings. Russian kettlebell swings is the kettlebell swing to where we come up to eye level. We're not going to come up completely overhead. We're only going to come to eye level. And a good way to scale that option is reducing weight. We don't necessarily want to go away from this movement. We want to stick with this movement unless we have some kind of injury that's preventing us from doing any kind of shoulder work. If that's the case, let's get with your individual coaches for that particular scenario and find the best scaling method for you on that. But reducing the weight is also a good option, or going into an up-down is always good. Your Russian twists. Russian twists, we're gonna be seated on the ground. We're gonna be lifting our feet up, and we can always do these weighted if we want to scale them up. And if we want to scale them down, we keep our feet on the ground as we're going from side to side, touching with each repetition. So let's go ahead and go through the movements individually and get you guys going. All right, guys, let's go over the individual movements that we're going to be going through today and some points of performance, some scaling options. So the first one we're taking a look at is the goblet squat. So the goblet squat is an air squat while we're supporting weight and holding it high at the chest level. We can use a couple of different things, or many different things actually, when it comes down to doing this. But I'll start with the kettlebell, because with the kettlebell, we've got the kettlebell swings, and if you have a kettlebell available, that's very, very convenient. But what we want to do is we want to start with the kettlebell turned upside down. That's my preferred method anyway. And I hold this between my hands, holding like this. Now remember, things to remember with the air squat, we always want to have our feet just below our hips, our toes canted slightly outward. So as we come back into the squat, we want to keep our chest nice and tall. Hips come back first, we track the knees out nice and wide, and we go ahead and we drop into that squat, making sure that our hip crease is below the knees, keeping our chest nice and tall, keeping that weight nice and high, and then coming back up into full extension, squeezing the glutes on the way back up. So this is the goblet squat. You're going to go through that, and you're going to do that for 10 reps. Now we can do this with a couple of different objects. That was kettlebell. Here's a dumbbell. So with a dumbbell, we want to take the head of the dumbbell and stand the dumbbell vertically, place it just like it was before, and again, drop down into your squat and back up. If we're going to use a plate, same scenario. We're just going to hold the plate in front of our chest, just like this, drop on back. We're going for full range of motion on that. And last but not least, I've got myself a medicine ball. We can use the same thing. So anything that's weighted, we can use a weighted bag. You can use a heavy jug or anything that you have around. Come on down and drop in, okay? So those are your air squats. Remember, this is an AMRAP. So that being said, it's 20 minutes long. We want to pace ourselves. Something to keep in mind at this point is we want to pick a pace that we can hold for the entire 20 minutes. Okay? So what I would do is I would come out of the gate at a or a medium fast speed. I would not come out full speed. I would come out medium fast. Definitely not everything I got, but definitely not holding back. These are very short rep counts, which means you're going to be through the movements quickly. And another thing that we want to do is we want to have fast transitions. So we're going to go from the goblet squat into the kettlebell swing. So with the kettlebell swing, we've had a number of videos so far on the kettlebell swing. Coach Kate does a tremendous job of giving us tips and advice on the kettlebell swings. So we're going to come down, we're going to set up, make sure that we're dropping in, got that nice flat back. And as we come back, we're extending the hips and coming to eye level or shoulder level as we're coming back. So if we're using the same piece of equipment going from the goblet squat to the Russian kettlebell swing, that is going to allow you to move through this just a little bit faster. And that's what I definitely recommend. You can use the kettlebell, we can use the dumbbell at the same time. So if you want to hang on to the dumbbell this way, or if you want to hang on to the dumbbell this way, it's really just a preference at that point. But again, we want to use the hips to drive the power as we're going through. So we can transition from here immediately into here. Then we're going to go into a Russian twist. So Russian twist, we've done them before. A couple of options that we have here is as we sit down on the floor, we want to clasp our hands together. We want to keep our chest nice and tall. We want to bring our feet up off the floor, and we want to touch each side of the ground. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we're going to go through 20 of these. Very quick transitions between movements. Keep your pace medium to faster, and stick to your game plan, guys. If you set the game plan, stick with it. There's going to come a point in time where it starts to get tough, and that's where you're going to have to push yourself just a little bit, and that's where you see your change, that's where you see your improvement. And as it gets tough, remember why we started in the first place, right? So those are our movements that we have for today. Have fun with this one. Can't wait to see who checks in and see the results. Have a good day.